Hey guys, now welcome back to video number 3. So I'm sorry to break it to you, but unfortunately today we are still going to be talking about verbs, and even worse, irregular verbs. Just 3 of them though, so don't panic. So we have the verbs tener, ir and hacer, which I hope you know by now are the verbs to have, to go, and then to make or to do. So what's so important about these verbs? So in any language, the verbs to be, to have, to go, and to do are among the most used verbs. So even apart from your junior cert. So if you start thinking about going on holidays to Spain, talking to Spaniards, maybe you fancy a Spanish boy or a girl, you're going to need to know these verbs to have a bit of a flirt as well. So your letter question also usually involves a lot of these key verbs in the past, present, and future. So unfortunately, it's not just enough to know the names of them or how to use them in the present tense. You are going to have to be able to conjugate them and use them in all 3 time situations. So, for example, tell her where you went on holidays, tell her what you will do for your birthday, tell her about the present you received last week. Anything like that, we need to be using our key verbs in all 3 tenses. So we're going to be just looking at the present tense in this video. But please keep an eye on your notes because they have all of the tenses that you're going to need for your exams with relation to all of these key irregular verbs. So we have tener. So tener is an irregular verb. So it's a rebel verb, let's say, and it means that it doesn't follow any of the normal rules of a normal ER verb. So some of its conjugations, so a conjugation, in case you don't know, is when we take the name of the verb and start changing it to talk about the person who's doing the verb. So some of those conjugations will change the first E to an IE, which is what often costs people marks in the exam. What it also costs people marks in the exam are things like tell her that you're hungry, tell her that you're thirsty. And tener is also used for age, hunger, thirst, heat, cold, tiredness, hurry, look, and fear. But don't panic, all of your notes are going to have these expressions in them. So how do we form the verb tener? So what I've done here is I've divided these conjugations in English into the first, second, and third person, singular and plural of the verb. And then we have it here. Tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, tenéis, tienen. So we have them in blue here, the E that changes to an IE. This is what costs people marks. Everyone knows how to say tengo, and then all of a sudden it becomes tenes, tene. You need to remember there's an I in there as well. Now, this is what I was saying. These are going to be on your notes as well, but to give you an idea of the expressions that tener is used with, we have tener frío, I'm freezing, to be cold. Tener miedo de, I'm scared of. Tengo calor, like me under these lights at the moment, I'm a bit warm. Tengo hambre, when you have last class before lunch and you're sitting in the classroom and you're starving, you're hungry. Tengo ganas de viajar, I want to go traveling. And then, no es lo mismo soñar que tener sueño. Tener sueño, you are tired, you're sleepy. So now, if we move on to the verb ir, to go. So again, like we're talking about these irregular verbs, the verb ir is another irregular verb. But there are some ways to help you remember how it is formed. In the present tense, ir changes all of its conjugations to begin with the letter V. So if you remember that ir is to go and V is like going on a voyage, you go on a voyage, you're going to remember that they all start with that letter V. So the present tense of ir is also going to help you when you're studying the near future tense, and that's going to make more sense when you go into your notes. So again, we have the same conjugations in English. Voy, vas, va, vamos, vais, van. V, 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 V. V for voyage, you're going to remember it that way. It's not a hard verb to learn off. Okay, and the last one, hacer, to make or to do. Again, it's an irregular verb, but only actually in the first person. Like tener, it uses the letter G in the first person, but because it has 2 meanings, hacer is used so much in Spanish. Remember, it's to make and to do. But you need to think a little bit outside the box. Think about in English, we say things make me tired, that makes me bored, it makes me happy, he makes her sad. Hacer can be a very emotional verb as well. It doesn't have to just be physically making or doing something. So how do we form the verb hacer? So the present indicative, don't be worrying about that word indicative, we're just focusing on the word present, the present tense. Hago is the only irregular conjugation. Haces, hace, hacemos, hacéis, hacen. So yeah, it is irregular, but not that much. If you just remember that the letter G is in the first conjugation, you're going to be fine. Okay, in the next few videos, you're going to see how to use these verbs in different tenses in your letter, how to use these verbs in the written expression section of your Junior Cert, and you're also hopefully going to be able to identify these verbs and more in the comprehension section of your JC. And hopefully, these are going to help you hack your way into getting even better marks than you thought possible in your Junior Cert exam. Hope that made sense, guys. See you in the next one.